Hello everyone, and good morning, Maya. Welcome back to Ace Attorney. We're heading back to trial today, which will be the first half of the last trial of this circus case, where everyone is a creep. Because that's right, last time we got introduced to another creep, that being the brother of Acro, the acrobat, Bat, who was, you 21 or 22? How old were you again, buddy? Let's just refresh your memory. You were 22, trying to go out with 16-year-old, and then you got bit by a lion. You might have had it coming. Yeah, so anyways, I'm thinking it's Acro that did it. It's some sort of revenge because of the lion. It happened to his brother, it injured him. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the ringmaster was responsible for what happened, and he gave that note to the ringmaster. It was like, to the murderer, meet me here. Like, and then he got murdered there. So like, how could it not be him? At least that's what I'm thinking. I just still don't know how he did it. Maybe we'll get a better idea today. Anyways.
Good morning, Max.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Tee-hee, hello? Oh, Regina, you're here.
Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk.
I just remembered, also, got some more Edgeworth lore last time. Francisca's not trying to get revenge for her dad, but Edgeworth, and she's trying to find him. So good for her.
Hey, Regina!
How fabulous! My sweetie pie princess. Stay away from her. You came to watch my performance today.
Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this.
Mo said that?
So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end?
It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties?
Huh?
I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on, or even where she is.
Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I'm just a member of the audience.
Fabulous! Enjoy yourself out there.
Good luck, Max. You're the best. Gina's different, don't you think, Nick?
Top of the morning to ya. Hello, Mo.
Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go?
Mo.
Top of the morning to ya, governor.
Top of the morning.
That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function.
Yeah.
Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk.
Oh my, thanks. Oh, he brought milk too. Now you got two. Also, Mo, you're being awfully nice to Max when you thought he was the one that did it.
So how are you today, Wright?
Well, I've got a feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real culprit. You mean Acro? Wow. Okay, I guess it's Acro. We're confirming it. Even Mo knows it now, apparently.
Huh? You think he did it?
Be careful.
He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare.
All I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is. I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses.
What are you gonna do then, Nick?
I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth.
You're right. It's gonna be tough. Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. You want us to make sure Regina watches?
Yes. That's why I brought her here to court today. What's that supposed to mean?
She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. Maybe an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars.
Dang. Well, I guess there's no more speculation. We know for a fact that it's Acro. It's just a matter of how he did it. I kind of forget the voice I gave him. Why do I always forget voices? In Let's Plays.
Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Very well. Ms. Von Karma, you may proceed with your case.
The prosecution would like to revise its
previous theory of events.
What's the meaning of this?
We've discovered a new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime.
Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up. It always does.
Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders.
Yeah, he was probably too scared to do anything but that. Poor gumshoe. Very well. Please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work. Or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. Hello? Oh, don't play all like you're a Disney princess with your birds there.
Name and occupation.
Ken Dingling. Everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the Berry Big Circus.
Where were you the night of the crime?
I was in my room that night.
If you look at the map, you will see that the witness's room is near the crime scene.
My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window.
The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed?
Okay. What I witnessed. It was just after 10 p.m., and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. You know, just hit me. Looking at this, see the shadow has this hat on. But we know he lost the hat. Like, it should be at the scene of the crime still on the ground. I wonder if that's gonna come up. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. How would you know? To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown.
If that's the case, there is very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night.
Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness.
A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool.
I really hate when she does that. The fool line. It's like just annoying to voice. Stop saying fool so many times.
A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did.
Then he just turns to Maya. Maya, how dare you bring up Edgeworth? I didn't bring him up! He keeps yelling at her for it. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? Savant Karma, makes me very sad when you bring up Edgeworth. The wacky court is not the same with you here. In the words of Ms. Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well. You may proceed with the cross-examination. All right, you murderer.
Okay.
And then you heard that, and then that's who it looked like. How? The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window. The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any of the other symbols? You're gonna see the hat? Yes, you are! Oh, I'm so smart! Yeah! You couldn't have saw the hat. I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get. I've pressed him once, Phoenix. But maybe there was something fishy with his latest bit of testimony. Yeah, there's a contradiction, and it's the hat. There's a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given.
If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence.
She's right. Let's see some evidence. I love evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction?
Yes, the hat. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult, considering the state that I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you should have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Idiot.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk cats?
No, Judge! No. This is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand.
Order! Order!
As always, it looks like someone just had to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick?
Well, I opened my big mouth, and now I have to back it up.
How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury on this court today? He's a killer, that's what it would.
Acro is the real culprit! Man, we're going at him a lot quicker than I thought we would. Your Honor, on this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself.
On this occasion?
Accuses Acro? What the world are you accusing him of?
What do you think, Judge? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry.
Mr. Wright, are you serious?
Deadly serious, Your Honor.
I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab at an audience's hearts and minds.
No, Von Karma, this is just what I always do. You haven't known me long enough.
Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book.
I never bluff! I always do this, and I'm always right.
Really?
If you don't believe me, just look at the witness.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at you with your birds.
He's calm enough for it to be almost scary.
The bird's over here. Ow, it's pecking me. That hurts. He's staying rather calm and collected.
Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense's accusation?
I don't really need to say a thing, do I?
What do you mean?
Everyone take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. You have a rocket-powered wheelchair. I don't know, that's my theory of how you flew.
That's true.
I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of murder, of all things.
See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear that the accusation is ludicrous.
He's right. Way to pick on a disabled, you heartless, cruel man. He did it! Phoenix is a poopy head. Don't call me a poopy head.
See that, Mr. Phoenix Wright? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game.
No!
I got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power.
Rockets.
Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well. I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice.
What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice?
I don't think he did.
Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice.
Not this time, Von Karma.
What?
You're not going to sucker me into this one.
What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright?
There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself.
Order! Order! What the? What are you getting at?
Better keep them on their toes, Nick.
Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. Yeah, and I don't know how it does. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Yeah, that's the part that I don't get.
Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that?
I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed.
Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright. If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right?
Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling?
Was he maybe... I don't know. Could he have been in his room? It's blunt force. Did he drop something on him? There? He was obviously here the entire time.
That's Acro's room.
Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. So I'm like, did he drop something on him? His rocket-powered chair? You drop down from above, then fly back up? In that case, there can be only one correct answer. Everyone keeps saying they heard like a thump. Well, more like Mo did. Acro just kind of went along with that. So, I think maybe he dropped something on him. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts? Maybe there, or if it's not a rocket-powered wheelchair, maybe it was like a string. It was like a fake person and he like pulled it up to like frame backs or something.
What say you, Mr. Dingling?
Oh, it's gonna be so satisfying when you snap. It's an interesting theory. That's it. Considering that what you propose is impossible, yes, that's it.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
as the witnesses stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there's no way he could go to the scene or be the killer.
No, it's him. I just have to figure it out. You've got a point.
It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime.
No, he wasn't clearly spotted. No one has ever seen his face.
That's true. But said he saw Max, didn't he?
Didn't see his face. But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? It's the next course of this legal buffet.
Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here...
She's right, I can't mess up here. Gotta give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster. And he did it while he was in his room, no doubt about it.
Time to enlighten us to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright, or else I'll kill you.
Present evidence. He had to drop something on him. The question is what? Going to present some evidence.
So, what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of murder against Russell Berry?
I don't think it's any of this stuff. Some pepper. No, wait. Is it the bus that went missing? Right? I think that's the only thing it could be.
What's that? A picture? Committed murder with a picture, my god.
No, Judge. It is indeed a picture, but the problem is with the item that's shown in the picture.
The bust, my god, it's so creepy. I hate it.
I do too. And it's quite a large bus. And because it is life-sized, it's also very, very heavy.
Heavy?
Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window.
Ah!
You got nothing to say now, do ya, Acro? See, this is how Acro was able to kill the ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust.
Order! Order. So you're saying the bust fell onto the ringmaster?
A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit.
How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible.
Well, Acro is an acrobat. You should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like a bust.
Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges?
Well,
Also, why are there birds in the courtroom? Why are we allowing this?
well, to be fair, we did actually interrogate a bird in the last game.
Acro's at a loss for words.
It should be, because I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro. Ah!
I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
I'd watch whipping people, because you might get charged for a crime one day. What?
Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself.
Testimony, you say?
What karma? She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony.
The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond.
The defense's objection is overruled. How could you do this to me, Judge?
Why can't you see things my way once in a while?
Yeah, you know, Judge,
You're always against me. You're never like, oh, yeah. I mean, in my version of the judge, he's always like, ah, yes, Phoenix. But you're never on my side. You're like, yeah, I'm with Phoenix.
Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony.
the witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him.
Yeah. Thank you. Ugh, that woman will sink to any low to win a case. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think?
I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony.
Of course you don't, Judge.
It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
Was he at a target? Would the box be like the target? I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright?
I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination.
He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really.
You're stalling too! Ugh, I can't let her get to me. Gotta focus. Curse you, Von Karma! I'm not sure. Yeah, you could have lifted it. So you have strong upper body strength. However, lifting the bust and looking out the window would have been impossible. Would it have? There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. I don't know. Do we need some kind of evidence? Like, how would... Why is this pepper here? At first I was like, the note, but then, because you knew you would be there, but you don't know the location of his head. Okay, guys, I'll be real with you. I'll tell you when I cheat, and I cheated. Because I was kind of sitting here for several minutes, like, I have no freaking clue. And I just cut it out because I was literally just sitting here in silence. So, the answer is the wooden box. And I have to present it on this statement. Makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Which, I was kind of saying that earlier, because I was like, well, maybe it's a target, but he's saying he couldn't have looked out the window. So I really don't get it. I was never gonna figure this one out. So we'll see what Phoenix has to say about it, I guess. Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the Ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add.
Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence?
But I did such a good job hinting. Poor Phoenix.
Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright.
Explain it to me too. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. Was the box set there ahead of time? And he was like, oh, look at this box.
Same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over.
The same.
So that doesn't mean he died on top of it.
Question is, who placed the wooden box here? I was under the assumption that the Ringmaster was carrying the box with him the whole time. But like now that I'm actually thinking back, Ben and Trillo would have said that. They saw that, wouldn't they? But I'm still confused on the whole like Max costume thing because they're saying it looked like him, it was the Ringmaster going in that. And he's not wearing it there when he's dead. I don't know. Phew. When Ben and company saw the Ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Yeah. Like, I'm just now realizing that. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime.
I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense.
The moment that bust came falling down was exactly the same moment the Ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. I mean, not really, but sure.
You mean... If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box...
There would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. I mean, yeah, it answers that question, but it doesn't answer a lot of other questions I have regarding this crime.
No. Order! This is unbelievable.
Finally. Some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. There's only one way to go from here. Forward.
The next question I have is, who placed the wooden box at the scene?
It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ow!
Allow me to whip you. Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Ow! God, you're gonna kill me again!
The Ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box.
That's why the box was so specially made.
Is it specially made?
I mean, it is really heavy. Indeed. The most peculiar feature. The weight. The box has a remarkable weight.
Wait. According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds.
Just to lift this wooden box would have required.
Oh, I see. I'm smart. I have a brain, Phoenix, right? One would have to squat down, then lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say?
That's exactly what I was trying to point out, Judge. Thank you. The box is also very large.
The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? I'm very observant.
That is correct. Good job, Judge.
Thank you.
To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool. Oh god, he's still calm. Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills.
Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza?
Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing. Yes, you could. I just don't know how, but you could. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust? Yeah, I remember. It's in the cafeteria. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria.
Then what happened to it?
I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. It was your monkey! You have a monkey that steals things for you. I don't know if he's stealing things on your behalf most of the time. He just likes shiny stuff, but you probably had the monkey steal the bust.
Ah, that means...
You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room? Your monkey.
You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that.
I can.
Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice.
Ugh.
Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bust from the cafeteria.
Yep, we definitely have a problem here. No, it's fine. I've got it, Phoenix. This is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happened once and for all.
All right, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room?
The monkey.
A monkey?
Everyone knows money. He loves shiny objects of any size.
Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist's ring.
So, are you saying that the witness had the monkey steal the bust?
Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on its own, and then brought it back home. Well, that was lucky for you.
Oh,
Money lives in Acro's room.
Acro's room?
But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny.
Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record.
Fine, those are some very nice cards he's holding.
Oh, those are shining. Yes, and they are made of platinum, which is very shiny.
Gah!
Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring back the bust to your room. That is one strong monkey. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate.
Order! Order! I said order! Ms. Von Karba! Where is the bust in question at this moment?
I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak.
This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then?
Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon.
Wait! You mean this bust was a murder weapon purely by accident?
It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else in that pile he would have used to kill. I remember there being a tuba. I don't know that could have killed him. It'd been like a cartoon. It just would have like fell on his head and it would have been stuck on him. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron!
Mr. Wright's argument was so circular that I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow!
Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney.
I'm not a fraud, I always win!
You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
And what is that?
You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. There's no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, that's the one thing about this case I still haven't been able to figure out. Is that?
Nick, don't let her beat you now.
I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around.
When the murder occurs, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw?
Was it the bust? Did the bust not break upon hitting him? Because, I mean, the silk hat was still at the scene. But Mo saw the silk hat flying away. So was the real silk hat the one that Russell Berry took? You saw Max's butt. Ow!
I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. I'm getting there. That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
Yes, it does. Au contraire, mon frere, it does indeed have something to do with the question. Stop being whip crazy. Let me speak. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw.
How is that possible?
It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak.
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust.
But how did he do that?
From the 3rd floor. It would be easy to hang one off of the cards in the bust's hands. Acro's very skilled with doing this. From the 3rd floor.
Idiot, who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust?
Doesn't matter who put it on the bust.
Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? I do want to know. That question is of the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree?
No, he caught me. Maybe it wasn't Acro. Maybe it wasn't Acro. Then... Did Russell Berry do it?
Let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust?
But the bust... killed him, though. Huh.
Fool. Him? We're saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry.
I don't think Acro could do it from up there.
That's what I'm saying.
The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust.
Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it.
Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright?
Explain yourself.
Nick, do you really have a handle on all this?
I don't know. I really don't. I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. I'm glad you are, because I'm not. There's really only one picture I could paint anyways. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's take a step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bust, and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ventrilo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. This is when the magic happens. At the very instant the bust hit the victim, okay, I guess. That seems like so lucky that would even happen.
You just wait a second then, Mr. Phoenix, right? As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be.
It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Ms. Von Karma. The circus isn't over yet.
What?
It's such a weird angle for it to go at. The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound of a certain witness. The sound a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Mo Curls, the clown. When Mo looked out of his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Mo saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of the window. So he just kept pulling the bust up. And that is how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be. So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. I mean, I guess that's how it happened, but the cloak flying onto and snagging onto the bus like that seems like it's so like the chances of that happening are so slim. It's like, okay, I guess it did happen. And like, if it didn't happen, then Acro would have been caught immediately because Mo would have just seen the bust flying up. And it would have been obvious that it was just someone like on the rope pulling it from above. Acro, it could only have been you. And you're still calm. Oh, that annoys me.
Acro's been playing mind games with all of us.
He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now?
You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true?
Evidence.
In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip.
Well, you know, you're the one that came up with the second one.
Don't forget the power of my gavel as well, and the power of my laser vision, and the power of mahjong, and the power of recess, and the power of a good Italian dinner, and the power of my love for Mr. Phoenix Wright. Okay,
Shut up, Judge.
Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence?
Nick, they say they want evidence.
I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. There's still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account.
Unusual?
A contradiction, actually.
Okay then, use that to get out of this jam.
That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence in the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case.
I think it's the hat again. Because obviously the hat Mo would have seen would have been on the bust flying up, and then the actual hat was left at the scene of the crime. The problem is Max's three symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses.
Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings.
Yesterday, there were two contradictions in Mo's testimony.
The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other.
The theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions.
You fool. Do you ever shut up?
You ever stop whipping people? Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust's.
Makes sense if you look at it that way. Then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of.
Fine, you've got one. But what about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction?
Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed the white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses.
They're probably still on the dead body.
I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick?
Of course, I can explain all of it.
What was that?
Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? They fell off. Oh, or they're just hidden. Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust.
Ah!
Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust.
Order! Order!
Is it recess time?
This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads.
Let's do this, Nick. Maybe Von Carl will finally throw in the towel.
Ugh, I hate when you do that. And yeah, I hate when you do that.
Well, so much for that theory.
Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't?
If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track.
Why is that?
Motive.
Oh, I know your motive. It's because of your brother. I wouldn't be surprised if the ringmaster somehow, like, was responsible for the lion doing that.
This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story first. Let's learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now.
What do we do? There's no doubting that Akros deeply respected the ringmaster.
Acro's motive.
It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to go down the slides. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. Let's go to now take a 10-minute recess. Yay to the playground.
To be continued. Okay. What a weird, like, no wonder I couldn't figure that out. How would I have guessed that? All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and end today's video here. Yeah. Okay. Like I just said, no wonder I couldn't figure that out. I don't know how anyone would guess that because, like, physically the cloak, like, doing that, even though I saw the picture, it still just looks unnatural to me. The chances of that happening are so slim. And the whole thing just actually worked out in Acro's favor because I feel like it'd be so obvious to everyone that it was him if that didn't happen with the cloak. Next time we're gonna finish up the trial, which, I mean, I've got a pretty good idea. The motive is related to what happened with his brother. He called the ringmaster a murderer. I mean, his brother may as well be dead because, I don't know, I don't know if he's gonna wake up ever. And then he also killed the lion. So that could be it, referring to it too. Like, he made the lion do this thing and then he killed the lion because maybe he didn't want Bat being with Regina, which, like, if that's the case, understandable that he didn't want Bat being with Regina because of the age gap. But yeah, we're just gonna have to figure out the motive now, which I don't think should be too difficult. So for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!